All right, ladies and gentlemen, for the part, we're going. Okay. All right. We're competing with some other committees, I think, at this time. I know I'm supposed to be in ethics, Senate ethics. So I will get there when I get there. We are here for Senate Resolution 623. And Senator Tippins, I'll call you up, and then I don't know that anybody has signed up to speak on the bill. If there's anybody here that wants to do that. Is there a sign up sheet in the back? Okay, there is a sign up sheet in the back.
List down here.
Oh, you got one there too? All right. All right, Senator Tippins, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. This bill is very simple. It moves the term, the Senate terms to 4-year terms instead of 2. It does not affect me because I'm not coming back. But the part that I hated the most about serving in the Senate was having to campaign. Excuse me. I just, most all of our county offices, I don't know of any county offices or state offices other than the legislature that are 2-year terms. I think the learning curve is pretty steep on the amount of information you have to absorb and also the procedures and protocols that you have to learn. And it just makes sense to me to go to a 4-year term. I'm not going to follow my sword about it one way or the other, but did not purposely try to exclude the House, but I felt like it ought to be the will of the House to decide whether they wanted to be in that mix or not. And so it only dealt with the Senate in the bill. As I was telling some of the other representatives on sidebar, my original bill had half the members coming up in presidential years and half coming up in mid-year elections. I think probably numerically that may give a little bit more stability in terms of experience, where you don't stand a chance of rotating the higher percentage of number of members of either chamber in any one given year. But again, that's not a sticking point with me.
Yeah.
My ethics committee wanted to bring them all up in a presidential election because they said they had a greater turnout. So I had experience before on the Cobb School Board, and we had 7 members. They were on a rotational basis. And I never could see a whole lot of difference in election turnout one way or the other.
Yeah. Senator, did you happen to survey around the country to see what the terms are?
I did.
In there? Okay.
No, sir.
I didn't know if there was any others that had a 2-year House and a 4-year Senate that was out there now.
No, sir. And again, it was not by design to try to exclude y'all. I just didn't figure y'all would appreciate the Senate trying to impose on you something, but it's not the intention to keep y'all out either. If y'all would like to amend it, I'll be very agreeable to that.
Well, who knows? There may be some discussion among the committee members that are here. Gentlemen, do y'all have any questions for Senator Tippins? Let me
12.
There you go. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had a couple questions. Has this, for some reason I'm remembering, did this come before the voters previously as a constitutional amendment question?
I don't think it has. I've heard it's come before. I've heard it has come up in the General Assembly before, but I don't ever.
I was trying to look it up. For some reason, I was thinking it had and it failed. But so my where I was leading is, for a question like this, do you think the Senate would be open to adding term limits as a way to try to give the voters something, if we're extending the terms, maybe implementing term limits, reasonable number as part of that?
I can't speak for the Senate. My personal opinion is, I know in Cobb County's history, the most effective commission chairman we had served for 20 years. And Ernest Barrett, he put Cobb County where they are today. And he had an 8th grade education, but he was smart enough to surround himself with smart people. And he had a lot of good counsel. We had a sheriff that served for 27 years, Bill Hudson. He was a good friend of mine. Some of y'all know him. And I've hunted with him for about 30 years and I'm close enough to him. If he was crooked, I'd know it. He's clean as a house too. But so
Well, and the reason for my question is more for, ensuring that if it were to pass the General Assembly, to make sure it would pass the voters, just giving the voters and something that if we're going to increase the length of the term, maybe adding term limits might make the voters more open. If it did previously fail, and I was trying to look it up, but I didn't have a chance. I was just a more curiosity than.
well, I think it's an anomaly to me that I think through the years, I've heard a lot about the attractiveness of term limits. But then if you look at Congress, they're, I think, generally judged to be very ineffective by a great deal of the voters, yet their percentage of being reelected, I mean,
Yeah.
predominantly they reelect their congressman, but they think everybody else is ought to be rotated. So I don't know the answer to that. I have not done any research on it.
Okay, I'll try to do a little, and it may not have come before the voters previously, but that was the reason for my question. So thank you.
Okay. Representative Williams.
That's me. Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I've had a lot of the public coming to me since I've been involved, and I'm in my 6th year, that it's crazy that we're all running every 2 years. And you go and do term limits, and what happens to Dean Smyrie, Chairman Gerald Green, Chairman Alan Powell, and a few others that has that institutional knowledge. Butch Parrish, you're right. So I really don't have a problem, and I would be open to making a motion for an amendment to include the House of Representatives and just letting them all be at the same time rather than staggered terms. I don't have a problem with all at the same time. When I was on the county commission, there was 5 of us and we all 5 came up for election at the same time. But the number of representatives and just thinking of the biennial and how, now you've got a bill you introduce and it's alive for 2 years. Well, how are you going to do that when it's staggered and the House and the Senate getting it from one side to the other? I think making it all uniform, I think would please probably the majority of the people in the state of Georgia, that they get tired of us running every 2 years and calling them and knocking on the door and asking them for money. And they'll probably say, why don't y'all do it once every 6 years? So, but anyway, that's my 2 cents. Thank you.
I think the TVs and newspapers would be against you on that.
Yeah.
But our donors would love to go there for 4 years.
Yeah. Representative Black.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Senator, I don't necessarily expect you to address this question, but I did want to ask that, if we were to move this forward, and we would have essentially a resolution, and I guess this, if it only applied to the Senate, Senator, it would be, in conjunction with the pay changes, we would be asking for a pay raise and an extension of terms for pay raise for the entire General Assembly and an extension of the term from 2 to 4 years for Senate members. That's what we have on the ballot, I guess.
I believe that's correct. But if you want to join in, it'd be all the ladies.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Anybody online? No? Anybody else want to talk on the bill? I got 2 people sitting in the audience out here. Any other Zoom? All right. Okay, well, Senator, I think today we're just going to be hearing only. And I've got tomorrow and Wednesday that I can set another day on. So, okay. All right, we'll think about it. We'll let you know.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing this